So a couple of months ago, we were able to review the Hyundai Santa Fe 2.5 Turbo Calligraphy version. But as you're gonna see naman, times are changing and therefore, a lot of cars are getting electrified by the minute. The question now is, does electrifying the Hyundai Santa Fe make it a better car? That's exactly what we're gonna be finding out in this car's review.
More on that later. For now, if you like what you're seeing, or even these kinds of reviews, why not hit subscribe and hit the bell?
What a car! What a car this thing! So guys, what you're seeing here is the Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy Hybrid. And based on the calligraphy name of this variant, this also basically means that this is a top-of-the-range version of the Hyundai Santa Fe. Now, as you can see here in the car's front end, pretty much same pa rin as with the 2.5 Turbo Calligraphy. You have these H-shaped LED headlights, this boxy and blocky front end, which by the way comes with these air vents that open and close depending on the cooling or efficiency needs of the car. And then, as we move towards the side of the Hyundai Santa Fe, you're gonna see 20-inch wheels. So yeah, they're 1 inch smaller compared to the 2.5 Turbo Calligraphy. But as you're gonna be seeing in our test drive section later, meron itong positive effect on the car's ride quality. Then, towards the side here, you're gonna see the car's distinctly boxy shape. And then, worth noting is that, at least for this test unit, meron itong dealer-installed side steps, which personally I wouldn't recommend in a crossover SUV like this car. Because, well, again, yun nga, being a crossover SUV and not a body-on-frame car, it's not even difficult to enter and exit this Hyundai Santa Fe. Then, yun nga, like the 2.5 Turbo Calligraphy, you have these handles here sa kanang sa C-pillar, which helps you in climbing up to the car's roof rack. So there's that part as well. Don't forget to lift this up. And then as you're gonna move towards the back of the Santa Fe Hybrid, again, like the 2.5 Turbo, pretty much same pa rin. Yung rear end nitong hybrid version, it's still very boxy, very distinct. And then you have these H-shaped LED headlights, or rather taillights pala, and this obligatory hybrid badging to of course indicate that this is the hybrid version. And so basically in terms of the design and the looks of the Santa Fe Hybrid, that's pretty much the differences with the 2.5 Turbo. And therefore, with that in mind, I think it's a good time for us to hop inside this Santa Fe Hybrid to see what else this car has to offer. So now we're here inside the Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy Hybrid, and again, pretty much same pa rin. But of course, that is not exactly a bad thing because the interior of the Santa Fe has always been a very stylish place to be in. So, like in the 2.5 Turbo version, we highly commend Hyundai for not adding a lot of gloss black stuff all over the car's interior. And yun na, the materials are very premium. They're also pretty robust and well built. And then, the one thing we always loved about the Hyundai Santa Fe is its ingenious storage solution. So, you have your dual-tiered glove box, in which the second level of the car's glove box is also basically a sterilization area, or yun nga kasi this part has a UV light. Plus, you also have your 2 wireless charging pads. And then this lovely dual hinge center console, which allows the rear passengers to access this large storage area. Now, as for the tech features, you still have with the familiar two 12.3-inch screens, which is running the latest CCNC or Connected Car Navigation Cockpit operating system. As you're gonna see, the interface looks very nice, very sleek, very responsive to your inputs as well. And then, while the front area of this vehicle is pretty much the same pa rin as the 2.5 Turbo, there is actually a significant difference when you hop into the car's second row because I'm pretty sure at this point, you're probably wondering why the Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy Hybrid costs significantly more than a Kia Sorento Hybrid, or at least the range-topping version of that car. Well, as you're gonna be seeing here, you have these lovely VIP captain's chairs, which not only has this lovely center armrest, but also power adjustment, which especially if you're gonna be seeing at the front right passenger, or rather the rear right passenger area, you're able to enter into this lounge position, which will automatically move the front seat forward and therefore provide you with a lot of legroom along with a reclined rear backrest. So yeah, basically the Santa Fe Calligraphy Hybrid is more of a VIP car compared to the range-topping version of the Sorento Hybrid. But positioning aside, as you're gonna be seeing here, yun nga, I have a lot of legroom. Of course, magandang iyong shoulder room because wala ka namang middle passenger. And then as for rear seat amenities, apart from these power adjustable captain's chairs, you also have this sunshade, along with, of course, a LED light here, and your own sunroof, which is actually pretty large for a rear passenger sunroof. And then you also have rear heated seats. I'm not sure why this would be a selling point here in the Santa Fe, but one advantage of having these power adjustable captain's chairs is that if I go down ngayon to enter the third row, yeah, you're gonna be pressing this button once, and yun, as you're seeing, it's moving on its own yung kanyang sandalan. And then, let's move this back and press this button here because as you're gonna be seeing, this is also automatic yung kanyang pag-reset back to its normal position. Yun nga, compared to the Santa Fe 2.5 Turbo Calligraphy, for the sole fact na wala kang upuan here in the middle rear seat, you automatically have more legroom to spare, thus making the third row a bit more habitable compared to the 2.5 Turbo version.
Now as for the Santa Fe Hybrid's cargo area, it is pretty much unchanged from the other variants except for one aspect, the underfloor storage. Wala ka na kasing lalagyanan for the cargo cover since kinain ito ng batteries of the car's hybrid system. Speaking of which, the Santa Fe also uses the same hybrid system that is also being used in the Sorento and the much smaller Tucson. But with a slightly larger footprint, how does this hybrid system cope with the Santa Fe's slightly larger size?
So driving the Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid, how does this car perform on the road? Now, let us compare this first to the 2.5 Turbo Calligraphy variant because as you're gonna see naman with the car's power figures, the 2.5 Turbo is actually the more powerful variant compared to this 1.6 Turbo Hybrid version. So as mentioned, ito ay isang purely parallel hybrid and so therefore, wala itong ECVT and instead, it uses a 6-speed automatic which offers a much more normal driving experience. There are gear shifts that you will feel the power delivery is very linear because of that. And compared to the 2.5 Turbo, though hindi nga to kasing powerful ng version na iyon, this car feels more instantaneous. So when you accelerate hard with this car, yeah, so kung makapansin nyo, may onting pag-downshift pa siya. It's waiting for a bit of a downshift. Pero may pick up na siya agad as a result of those electric motors filling up the gaps or the deficiencies rather, or the power band deficiencies of the car's 1.6 turbo engine. Of course, one of the added benefits of having this hybrid drivetrain is that the car is smoother. So this feels much more smooth compared to the 2.5 turbo version or even the diesel it's replacing. Though yun nga lang, because this is a parallel hybrid, meron siyang onting limitations though compared to a series parallel hybrid like what you would find in Honda or yung mga Toyota hybrids natin. Pero yun nga, on the upside, ang advantage ng parallel hybrid is that it feels more natural, it feels more linear, yung ganang power delivery. And now that we're here in these corners, yun nga mapapansin nyo, well, it's not the sportiest crossover in the class. That would be the Mazda CX-8 pa rin, or siguro to a certain degree, the Mazda CX-90. But this car's competent enough. The car's handling is competent. It's on the soft side, typical of any South Korean Hyundai or Kia car. And even if we're going uphill, in fact, I've been using this car for over 600 kilometers already. And they also filled up this car with 6 people, or rather 5 passengers. And yun nga, this hybrid drivetrain, kahit sa uphill, kahit when fully loaded, it feels very effortless, very responsive pa rin to your inputs. Though, if you're gonna be asking me whether I prefer this or the diesel, in terms of smoothness, Hyundai Kia Group makes one of the best diesel engines in the business. So, in the first place, it's already a smooth diesel engine. Pero don't get me wrong, this hybrid drivetrain is still very capable. And then, as mentioned kanina nga pala, this car's 20-inch wheels, which are slightly smaller than what you would find in the Calligraphy Turbo variant. And they actually do help in improving the car's ride quality. So yeah, though there's only a 1-inch difference between this and the Calligraphy Turbo, mas maganda yung ride quality nito. Since you have more tire sidewall with this car. And then now that we're on the subject of fuel economy, while we're here in these twisty roads and even in the city kanina, or rather our town driving, its fuel economy was hovering at around 11 kilometers per liter. So yun nga, parallel hybrid. So just imagine the Tucson, it felt like a rocket ship, but here in the bigger, heavier Santa Fe, it's still powerful, still very responsive, but yun nga, now that it has a heavier weight to deal with, it is less sprightly compared to the Tucson kung sabihin natin, but still again, hindi to hirap na engine. It's still a very capable 1.6-liter turbo hybrid engine. And then another limitation of this car's hybrid system is that, yun nga, since this is using the Tucson's hybrid system pa rin, mas mababa as a result ng kanyang pure electric driving ratio kung sabihin natin. So, unlike in the Tucson na it can easily cruise in pure electric mode, well, this can rin naman, but mas onting provocation lang ng gas pedal ang kailangan mo dito sa Hyundai Santa Fe in order for the gas engine to kick into life and basically power the car in parallel hybrid mode. So we're gonna be entering an expressway here. How will the Hyundai Santa Fe perform? So, as mentioned, this is a parallel hybrid system, and because of that layout, because of that arrangement, it is actually here on the highway where the Hyundai Kia cars tend to be at their most efficient rather than being in the city. So here on the highway, there's actually a higher percentage of pure electric driving here, especially when you're just coasting, you're just accelerating ng very gently. And so here on the highway, based on my experience with this car for over 600 kilometers worth of driving, this can do 17 kilometers per liter on the highway, and kanina as mentioned nga, in the city, mga 11 kilometers per liter. So my average with this car for over a week's worth of use, driving back and forth from Manila to Santa Rosa or even to Clark, Pampanga in Subic, I have been averaging at around 12.5 kilometers per liter with this car's parallel hybrid system. So yes, it is an efficient figure, but as you're probably gonna notice, a lot of other diesel SUVs can nearly match or even outpace the fuel economy figure of this Santa Fe hybrid. Especially with the previous Kia Sorento. I haven't driven the diesel Santa Fe nga lang, but the previous Kia Sorento kasi, my average fuel economy was at 14 kilometers per liter. Though again, mostly highway driving based on where I live kasi, like with this car. Pero yun nga, in terms of the fuel economy advantage between this and the diesel Santa Fe, or rather the diesel Sorento, hindi masyadong malaki, I think, yung kanyang fuel economy advantage. But yun nga, in terms of the refinement aspect, especially when you're coasting lang on the highway, yun nga, since it's running in pure electric mode for a lot of the percentage of your drive, this is a lot more refined, more quiet. And then matching that excellent refinement is the car's very rock-solid structure. Sabi ko nga sa mga reviews ko with Hyundai Kia cars, they tend to now feel very European. I am actually loving this car on how it makes my drives very relaxing. Not to mention, of course, the Hyundai Smart Sense suite of advanced driver assistance systems. So, of course, I can the Calligraphy 2.5 Turbo. Mayroon itong full speed adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keeping assist, and of course, even the blind spot cameras and all the other advanced safety features. So, the question now is the Hyundai Santa Fe worth it? Well, at 3.3 million pesos thereabouts, that would mostly depend on what you're looking for in a 3-row SUV. If your goal is to maximize fuel efficiency, I don't think this is gonna be the car for you because, as you're probably gonna notice, Hyundai is making the hybrid drivetrain in the Santa Fe pretty much exclusive to the range-topping Calligraphy variant. Whereas in the Kia Sorento, for instance, that is the standard powertrain across all variants, even in the base EX. Now, that is also pretty much reflected with the amenities back there in the second row because yun nga, as mentioned, as you've seen naman kanina, this car's captain's chairs with power adjustment. So, for that kind of market, yung medyo executive, yung parang looking at this car as an executive cruiser, yeah, this is actually a better car compared to the 2.5 turbo Calligraphy version. Especially as you're gonna be cruising with this car at the back, this car is very relaxing. This car Of course, with the added benefit of electrification, this car's quieter, more refined. So in that respect, with that perspective, when you're looking at this as an executive cruiser, well, this car does a better job compared to the 2.5 Turbo Santa Fe and the Kia Sorento. So basically, this car is not a vehicle that you would buy in order to save money from your fuel bills, but rather, you're buying this for what I think, sa totoo lang, is the best way to experience the Hyundai Santa Fe. It's a very refined car, a very relaxing car, especially with this hybrid drivetrain. Though yun nga lang with the Kia Sorento having a hybrid drivetrain standard across all three variants. It's actually pretty interesting how Hyundai will respond to that. But yeah, until then, the Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid is not meant for you to save money on your fuel bills, but because of the car's luxury amenities at the rear seats, this is a perfect fit, bale, if you want the most relaxing, the most luxurious way to travel in a Hyundai Santa Fe.